Hey, everybody out there in Cyberland. This is Aura Walker from Aura Walker Hypnotherapy, and this is my weekly show, the Aura Walker Hypnotherapy Show. And it is December 4th, 2017. We're about 3 weeks away from Christmas. Hi, Jill. Thanks for joining us. And we're on Facebook Live, and we're about half hour before our live radio broadcast, which is actually pre-taped. So here we are. Hi, Denise. So I just want to say a quick little hi, Josh. I just want to say a quick little something about who we are here at radiobuzz.com. We are an new independent radio streaming live radio station, which means online, of course. And this is the new technology, right? And it's fun because you get to see your radio hosts. So radio is kind of a misnomer, but that's where we're at. Hi there. Hi, Jill. So I'm juggling here and it helps because I am female and we're good at juggling. But I'm reading, I'm presenting, and I'm interacting with the audience out there. So thanks for joining us out there in Cyberland. So yes, just a quick little word about Radio Buzz. We are new, we're independent, we're looking for more radio hosts. So if you're out there in Cyberland and you want to be a radio host, please contact Chris at radiobuzz.com. We're also looking for sponsors and donations, holiday donations. And, everybody is asking everybody for money. And we're just saying, if you can afford it and you believe in us and you want to see independent radio keep going, even a lot of I'm not going to name names, but a lot of the big independent radio stations out there in the mainstream are now owned by fossil fuel companies, and we're not. We are completely grassroots. So I want to encourage everybody out there who enjoys our programming to please help us and donate, help us to keep going, because we're just a shoestring organization. But what we're doing in our mission statement and our goal and the owner's goal is to create a network internationally using technology. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us. So the owner of the station, his vision is to use technology to make the station grow internationally and have a touch a home base, right? A place where you can touch base with us and we can get news out, and you can contact us and tell us what's going on internationally. Maybe that's not being broadcast in other countries, whether it's a crisis or a need or something. And you can help us to grow that way. And so we are an independent network, basically, and we see this as a need in the market that basically, hi, Salvatore, we basically see that mainstream radio is being bought out by corporations, and that's what we see with this corrupt tax bill that has just been presented in the U.S. Congress, and that it's really screwing the working class people out of what we need, and it's giving huge tax cuts to billionaires and corporations. And so as a grassroots organization, Radio Buzz really is coming to you with straightforward information. Our one guideline is that there's no cussing on air because Google would kick us off the internet. But so we present clean, good, wholesome information and topics that are really applying to the international populations in terms of the human race, right? So these are issues that affect people all over the world from different economic stratas, really about holistic health, welfare, education, financial success, goals, things that affect people no matter what their background is. So today's topic is eradicating societal pressures. And I want to talk about that because, and I will, perhaps repeat myself a little bit just for people who are catching on to our programming or who've missed other shows, but the statistics now are 25%. I mean, 1/4 of the population, at least in the United States, but I'm going to say globally because of health issues globally, is that 25% of the population suffers from emotional or mental health disorders. And it is really due to environmental pollution and our food being polluted. And I don't want to get too depressing about it, but we have environmental toxins, and then we also have a declining economy, and we have a lot of shoulds, right? So you should go to college. You should be financially stable. You should have a certain income. You should remain on good terms with family, even if they're not good to you. All these shoulds, right? So it's a lot of pressure on people. And what we see is just a higher rate of people struggling and a decline in social functioning, right? So in the United States, we have this epidemic of health issues and health issues with children, and over medicating. That I'm not against medication if medication is used properly, but you know that it's just now it's a one size fits all, and there is no one size fits all. Every single person is an individual. You may have a similar struggle, but you are an individual. So my show, aurawalkerhypnotherapy.com, or Aura Walker Hypnotherapy, that's my website, is aurawalkerhypnotherapy.com, is based on 22 years now of my experience working with the population of all ages, with children and families, children and adults, all different kinds of backgrounds. I used to be a supervisor for behavior therapists in the LAUSD school system, where I went in and helped these behaviorists work with children in the classroom. And so those children grow up and they become adults who can't deal with societal pressures. So I'm going to be talking today about the shoulds, and about how, because of the economy and people are being challenged where they're not making what they thought they were going to make coming out of college, we're really seeing people going back to trade school instead of getting 4-year degrees. And there's no shame in that. You know, there are people with trades. Hi, Jesse. People with trades who are making very good incomes, and we need those people. We need those trade schools. We need people going back to school and learning trades, like actual trades, electricians, plumbers, you know, auto mechanics. These jobs that we used to look down on or call blue collar, we need those jobs to keep the economy going. So I encourage parents to get your kids into trade school. You know, don't worry, unless you want your child, or your child wants to be a doctor or an attorney or an accountant or an engineer, something very specific, a space engineer, that they need that 4-year degree in grad school, then yeah, sure, pursue those dreams. But if not, there's absolutely no shame in learning a trade or in getting an internship in the field. Now, I can't tell you how many people I know personally. One of my best friends went to school for art history, and she works for one of the biggest ad agencies in New York and makes a ton of money. And how did she do that? Her mom got her into an internship straight out of college, working for an ad agency where she was running the tapes back and forth, and she was doing errands, and she worked her way up and then started assisting on shoots. And now she's one of the biggest advertising producers in the United States and one of the most successful. She goes to the Cannes Film Festival every year. She's living the high life. What was that from? That was from an internship. So I encourage parents out there to get their kids into internships. If you know people who have businesses, if you know successful people, there's an adage that's old school, which is success in business depends on who you know. So I encourage you to look outside of the internet in terms of getting your business, right? So networking groups, staying in touch with people that you know in business that you have good relationships with. And then I'm going to talk about, you know, the eradicating societal pressures, where the attitude of gratitude and feeling that you have good things in your life is a good starting point for making those things grow in your life. And so having that feeling that you are blessed with whatever you do have is a good starting point. If you come from a place of lack, you're never going to be able to make more of what you need out in the world. So if you feel abundant and you live as if you are abundant, no matter how little you have, you're going to be able to make that grow. And you're going to be a happier person, and other people are going to want to get to know you. And so networking groups, again, whether they're in your neighborhood or through other businesses that you know, or through even churches, or maybe somebody that you know attends a business networking group. And there's something called meetup.com where you can put in your zip code and find groups in your area. And it's a great resource. And most of those groups are free, no matter if you want to find a Friday night socialization group or you want to find a business networking group. So in terms of societal pressures, when there is no progress in one direction, whether it's in your family relationships or it's in your work relationships, there's no growth and there's no change after a certain period of time. And you can give it that timeline for yourself, whether it's a month, 3 months, a few weeks. It depends on what your need is or what your limit is, or maybe it's a few years. But when there's not enough growth or movement forward, that's a good indication that something really needs to change and that maybe that avenue is not for you, right? So this might seem like common sense, but I think it's really taken for granted. And I think it's really important when we look at our lives, whether it's a food that's not working for you or a medicine that's not working for you or a family relationship that just hasn't worked your whole life. I mean, how many people out there that tried to make a relationship work with a family member, whether it was a parent or an aunt or uncle or a grandparent or a sibling, and it just doesn't work. Hi, Shannon. So why beat yourself up and why beat that other person up when something is just not working anymore? And there's so much guilt, right? The societal pressure says you should make this work because why should you make it work? And I'm not talking about somebody who's incapacitated, like an elderly parent who, needs you to go and sign papers for them or visit them in their old folks home or make sure that they're, need to transition out of their home because they're going to burn the house down because they forget to leave, they've forgotten something on the stove. I'm not talking about elderly people or people who are, excuse me, disabled, right? So we're talking about people who are severely emotionally or physically disabled who, must need help. I'm not talking about those relationships. I'm talking about higher functioning people who you've tried to make things work with, whether it's an employee or it's a relative or it's a boss. Listen, if you're in a dead-end job and you hate your life, that's a good indication that you need to move on. And whether you start the ball rolling looking somewhere else, or you resign and decide to do something else with your life and downsize your life to move on, this is the only way that you're going to grow and succeed. And you have to think outside the box now. We are in a time economically where in order to succeed, you have to think outside the box. So let me give you an example. For any business owner who knows how to use the internet is a way that most business owners now get their business, is through the internet and through a very complex, literally web of rules. So Google has a rule and they change their rules every single month. And if you don't know what the change in those rules are because you're not tech savvy enough or you're not paying someone else an exorbitant amount of money, you're going to get kicked off of Google's front page. And everyone's scrambling, including big corporations. I mean, Coca-Cola, General Mills. I'm just using some names that everybody knows. These companies have the money to overpay the small business owner, right? And so what we're seeing in certain gentrified neighborhoods is small business owners are being squeezed off the streets because the rents are getting too high. And so they can't survive in those storefronts anymore. And then you see online businesses, because now everyone's going online, getting kicked off the front page because they can't compete with the big corporations. And so what's happening is there's this swing back to old school traditions of, now you got to get back on the street and get to know your neighbors, and you have to promote your business on the street level or through people that you know or through conventions, trade conventions. So you have to think outside the box. You have to get more creative about your success. Hi, Jennifer. So one of those things, you never know. And so don't ever underestimate the power of connecting with people on the street. A business card. Think of a business card as a little message, almost like a little bird that you're sending out to the universe with your message on it. So don't underestimate leaving a few business cards at a coffee shop or handing them to someone or bringing up in a conversation what your business is and then handing your business card out. So Vistaprint is very affordable, and I'm just plugging them. And there's another company called planitgreenprinting.com. It's also another great printer for labels and stickers and business cards and printing needs. They're eco-green printer. So these are two companies that you could use. One, Vistaprint, is not eco-green, but they're extremely cheap. And you can get, thousands of cards for very little money. And then IT Green Printing does all compostable printing. So that's for those people who are eco-green friendly and want to have compostable cards or printed materials. Enough of that. But business cards, my point is business cards. Carry your business cards on you. Do not ever underestimate the power of handing out your business cards. It's a numbers game. For every person that you hand out 10 business cards to, one, so it's 1 in 10. 1 in 10 people is going to go, I need that, or where's that business card? And they might take a week, a year, but they'll come back and look for that business card. So just keep handing out your business cards and don't be afraid to keep handing them out wherever you go, wherever you have conversation. I was at a meeting on mental health. And a young woman approached me at that meeting because I was telling a story about somebody that I know who's struggling with a disorder. And this woman wanted to connect with me because her husband was struggling. Well, it turns out that she wanted to see if I could assess her husband for a trauma history, because that's one of my specialties, is working with people with traumatic backgrounds. And so I agreed to do this, and it was no sweat off my back. And I did it. And what happened is now I am going into this different direction in my career on the street level, where I'm writing letters for the courts on people's traumatic intake histories, starting at $550 and up for these letters. Now that's really lucrative for my time. Never would I have guessed that going to this meeting on mental health would have opened this door for me. So you just never know. And so I encourage people to not go by what you think society tells you should do, and just go by the 2 rules. Don't hurt yourself. I got to get myself in the camera here. 2 rules, right? Peace out. Remember that. Peace sign. 2 rules. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anyone else. So if you go by those 2 rules, don't hurt yourself, don't hurt anyone else, you're in the clear. And you can really be creative. Be creative. Be creative in your life. Be creative with your work. Be creative. Think outside the box, because that is where your success is going to come from. And you have to be your own cheerleader. If you don't believe in yourself, well, get help. Get help either with someone like me. I do phone sessions, or somebody else that you trust or like, or get a referral for. It's a wide world. We're a finite planet. We're a small planet. But, what I mean in terms of as a wide world, there's a lot of experts out there in the world, including you. You're an expert. I'm looking at these faces up here. None of us are spring chickens. None of us graduated from high school yesterday. You guys are all experts in your field. You know something about what you know about, what you've studied, what you've learned, what you've worked in. Believe in yourself. If you've been doing something or working at something for more than a year, you already know something about that field. So you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to believe in yourself. You have to get out there. And it's not about like being a braggart or like, being a chauvinist or like, I'm the greatest. It's not about that. It's about believing in yourself and having authenticity and integrity. And those 2 words, I'm going to repeat those often: authenticity and integrity. So what does it mean to be authentic? It means to address the things that are of importance. And if somebody walks away from you or tunes you out, next. That is not your client. That is not your customer. That is not your people. You want people who want to engage with you on the subjects that you care about, who want to engage with you about your business. And there's somebody out there that needs your specific services. Know that. Believe in that. And so again, I'm coming back to today's topic is eradicating societal pressures. If something is not working, stop beating it to death. It is not working, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, a habit. This is the thing. I'm in the field of holistic health counseling and hypnotherapy. Why did I choose hypnotherapy? Hypnosis is a natural brainwave that happens to everybody every single day. We all go in and out of hypnosis. It's like the screensaver on an automatic screen program for your computer that saves your computer screen from burning out. Our brains can only focus, whether we're awake or sleeping, 10, 20, 30 minutes max, and that's pushing it. Really, for some people, it's a few seconds. And with our swipe technology, it's even less, okay? So we live in an attention deficit reality, really. Everybody's attention deficit these days. They want everything quick and easy and swipe, swipe, swipe. So our brains can only focus for a certain amount of time. And so I realized if I learn how to work with people in certain brainwaves patterns, then I can help people in a very short period of time. And when I was coming out of grad school, I was coming out during the time of managed care. And managed care dictated that you can no longer go to the doctor as many times as you want. You only have 5 sessions a year or 1 session a year or whatever it is, right? And so the head of my program said, if you have 30 minutes, which is like basically about what our show is these days, because we don't want to overstimulate anybody and we don't want to really lose people in the mix. But if you have 30 minutes with somebody, and I'm going to import this to all of you out there, if you have 30 minutes with somebody, how are you going to improve their life, right? How are you going to improve their life? And so it's important that you yourself are healthy and you feel stable and you feel inspired and that you keep thinking outside the box and keep pursuing what makes you individually happy in a non-selfish manner. And I'm just going to close up. There is a mentor who I really like. He's really an outside the box thinker. His name is James Altucher. And he said there's 3 levels that you want to offer the world. You want to offer freebies, right? 1, freebies. 2, a midline level of charging for your services. And 3, an upper level of charging, like a higher amount that you charge for specialty services. And so when you give of yourself to the world, don't worry about what you're giving out there for free, because it's going to come back to you. You're sharing of yourself. You're letting people know who you are, and believe that you're a good person. You have something good to offer. So don't go by societal pressures of what you should do or who you should be. Think about what you have to offer and be creative. And that's how you're going to succeed in the future and in the world. So thanks again. If you like this programming, please donate to us at radiobuzz.com. Help us to keep bringing you independent streaming live radio. And if you're interested in programming or in advertising your business, we also advertise for businesses, and you can contact Chris at radiobuzz.com. So thank you and peace out. And I will be in touch. My show airs repeatedly every day at 1 p.m. on radiobuzz.com. And I'll see you next week. So peace out and see you next time.